call me Takapir. Grandma gave me a name when I was a little baby. She called me Joe, and I stuck with that name all my life. So I go by Joe Williams, and so that's what I go by. I'm from the Dakota tribe here in Wahpetons. I'm a Wahpetuan tribe, grandpas and grandmas, Wahpetuans. And you see in the background there, Lake Traverse, they call it Badehadakian. I grew up here on this here area, and I didn't know it was that beauty in this month of October. Beautiful sight. We used to, a lot of game, a lot of fish. That's how we survived growing up back in the 30s and 40s. So I have a lot of good memories here. Unfortunately, I lost all my old relatives and all, and I only got little left to tell at my age of 79. Officially I'm 79, and I can say I'm pushing 80 now. So I want to give some information of the old history that it was told. And when growing up, a little boy, they told many the history, who we call it in our language, Hutunkanka. And I always wondered about these stories that they told, if they were just a fairy tale or myth. In my search over the years, but it had to take the ceremonies to come to center. And then before that ceremonies, I went to a mission school, and we were programmed over and over and over. So I went through life being programmed. And one day I come back. I went to an old Indian ceremony, cleansing ceremony. And we got through the cleansing ceremony. I said, I'm a Dakota again, not really knowing what I was saying at that moment. I'm a Dakota again. But after all these ceremonies, I realized what that meant. And I searched for the information, the old history, oral history that told. And I wanted to find out how authentic these old stories were in my search. But it had to take ceremonies to do that, to be a Dakota again. And being Dakota, I had to change way of life. In our Dakota language called Wa'ushida, you have to have compassion. And so we try to practice that. I try to practice that, to treat everybody equal. And that's where I'm at today. But in my search of these old stories I told, Hotunkanka, I wanted to know how authentic it was. In my search through ceremonies, this is what I've learned. In my travels, we did some binders. We did some search. And I dedicate this binder here because Chekpa Okidepi. After we were severed from our parents, we were searching for our identity as a Dakota. And this is what I found. The real words that they use, Chekpa Okidepi. And I interpret that we are trying to bond back to who we are as a Dakota people. I dedicate this to my mom. She was a great teacher. And I got a picture up here, dedication of what she taught me over the years, and to respect. And by coming to the ceremonies, I had to cleanse myself for what I went through. It took a number of years to do that. And I can say I'm 79, but it took me about 40 years or more to center myself to be a Dakota again. In my search, and you call it carving on the rock. And the carving on the rock, called the petroglyphs, an archaeological term. And when I went down there many years ago, about 20 years or so, when I went down to the rocks, I looked at them and I says, there's a code here that hasn't been broke. And so I I searched for that answer, but it took a while. And I have some things I want to show here today, what, where it led me and what they are. We put them in the binders now, some of this history in the binder. We did additional filming on these issues. And there's a lot to be told on this here. We can teach the Dakota language, both put it in English and put it in Dakota language to be understanding what these mean. What they told in our history, Otunkanka they call it. And how true is it when I seen on the rocks, the carving on the rocks, I know they were true. And there's all these stories coincide with that. We have a picture on the rock, there's a woman's image. And I looked at her, and in the ceremonies she came and told us a few things. I came from the blue stars. And I thought about that when they came from the heavens, the stars. And how many light years it took for her to get here to give us a message of what's on the rock. And I seen her and I said, you were here all this time and I didn't see you. And so the information came from that, the image, and there's many, many, many carvings on that to be interpreted today. I've got some here in this folder here. I got some here and this one here. I was ahead of myself for some time, but I had to, because of what he told, I had to start from the beginning. And the beginning is what they put on the rock, these images on the rock, what they told. They had these Uknomi stories and the duck stories. I was wondering about that. When we took photos and identified these photos, there was duck web feet marked on the rock. So all these stories that were told in the duck stories were true, where it came from. That's about 7,000 years ago. There's other images on the rock. There was a talent. There's a bird talent on our. There's many stories to be told about that bird, the talent, the skills that they give the Indian people. One example of the bird is this recently I seen something that got my attention. The old Dakota saying was, Ishtani toga bakashta wadakishni. Sometimes it's right in front of your eyes and you don't see it, even though you're searching for some information. And my granddaughter showed me a little nest. I looked at that nest and how it's constructed. There's one particular nest that I looked at, it was a canary nest. In the rocks there, one of the archaeologists says, they're making a basket. And I didn't believe that. I didn't answer him. But when I looked at my granddaughter's finding of it was a little canary nest, it was woven. It was so unique. And every nest that is made was woven and the reason why it's woven there is for skills of survival. What these little so-called bird brains that they call us, they were more intelligent than we were. How they survived all these thousands and thousands of years. So they took this information from the old people to skills of survival. That's one of the things I want to tell here. Same with the talent of the bird, the eagle talent. There's stories about the turtle. I've got it all in the pamphlets here to tell these stories. The stories about the turtle, the wolf, the dog, the buffalo, the bison, the tatanka. I can tell this all in the Dakota language, but I have to do it in an international language that we can understand. We have here, a long time ago, Ukana, grandfather said, Washichu de he batagwasna over de tukaga pi imihe tatagwasno shkishki. In 1492, there was an invasion of another race of people here on this continent. And I thought about that phrase for a number of years and what did it mean. So I made a visit down in Jeffers, petroglyphs, and here it was on the rock. What Grandpa did said. I have a picture here that shows you exactly where it is at and what they meant. And we can write a history of that phrase that O'Connor said was told maybe 7,000 years ago plus on the stories that he told. And it had a lot to do with things. And there's images on that rock here, and just to illustrate what I'm talking about, we have all these stuff here that we just recently took, talking about. And one particular one that I want to, I was talking about the duck stories. You got a picture here of the duck footage, what is told. Everything is that they're talking about. Oh, there's another thing I want to mention in Lake Traverse here. They said, "Bombadushka tanko de bedege bedaka de unktai option po." It was there to hit you option po. Lake Traverse here, there's supposed to be a big serpent here, and told us never to go there because of the serpent. So we never did. And I seen the other big construction of the serpent. But here again it's marked on a rock. Here what it means. Many stories to go with that. There's a zoot, you know. One of the things that I really caught my attention, one of many, but I just want to mention it today, is I have a picture here of a stick man with a spear. I got it here in the book. And what did that mean? The spear. And what the archaeologists said, well, they're going to go hunting with a spear. I studied that formation there, the rock formation of a man with a spear. And what they told in that carving with a spear, one of the things that I thought about was rivalry. When did that start? With a man with a spear in his hand. And my interpretation of that is that there's going to be a rivalry among ourselves way before the white man came here. And later on they showed that with that spear we're going to protect ourselves, not only for survival of hunting, for survival skills, but to meet the enemy. So there's many things to talk about, just in one image alone. These are the things I want to share. I highlight some of the stuff that's been put in these binders. There's only a few here, but there's hundreds and hundreds of more that we can talk about and put them in in the format so they can understand. And we can put it both in Dakota language and international language, where the people that can't speak the Dakota people, our own tribe, can read it and understand the value of what is put on that rock. Yeah, I'm kind of happy. There's a lot of things I want to talk about, explain, highlight it. But one of the things that the grid, they call it, it's a GRID, grid, what it encountered, what they told us is going to happen to the Dakota people, and it happened. And today we have a big problem with what we have. And I suppose you wonder where I got some of this information. Back in the 50s, I volunteered in the United States Army, called the 10th Mountains. And when I joined it, we went to Europe. And we did training with the British Army, a firing range. And where we went, they liberated a concentration camp. And when we first got there, they took us to the auditorium and showed us pictures of what they liberated, the the Holocaust that happened in that area. And we toured that area, and what happened to the people. The, what they had to put up with and what they went through to survive the Holocaust, they call it. I come home when I was 23 years old, and I wondered about that. I wondered, what happened to us in this continent and what it did to us. Earlier, I said I went to mission school, and I don't think I cried when I went to mission school. But we were depressed because we were taken out of that safe circle at home. And when that circle was broke, it put a lot of pressure on us. And when I got out of the army, we went through that depression. I went through it for a number of years to center myself. Again, I said earlier, I went to a cleansing ceremony and I cleansed myself to shed all that. We call it wa'ohoda, wa'oshida in our Dakota language. So I was trying to find ways of trying to bring back the value of the Dakota people and other tribes, indigenous tribes around this continent. What they inscribed in the rock thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago of skills and survival. I demonstrated a little bit ago about the bird and how they knitted a little bird nest. They weaved it. Did we get that knowledge from that little bird of weaving? Did we get the knowledge from the man throwing that spear of how to survive, the skills of survival, how to defend ourselves? Today, one of the biggest issues on this reservation is alcohol and drug. And we have a huge problem here because we lost the old Indian way of life, the value of the old ways of wa'ushida. So these are the things that I've been putting together here. And there's many more things that I want to put in it. They have many, many pictures that we took, spent many, many hours, and it took me a long time to do that. What we're putting together, I don't think you can find it in a book. You cannot find a book in a library to open up what we're putting together here. This is all, to me, it's all be new to some people, but it's very important, the value of knowledge that's involved in this here. And hopefully that someday that we can put it together, put these volumes from A to Z, many, many volumes we put together of the understanding what they told, what they predicted was going to happen to us Indian people here. So that's what I'm doing today. I have these volumes. I have many more to talk about, but I just want to illustrate that. We have here a circle. There was a circle here, put here. I just want to show here. I've got all this stuff here that I want to talk about and highlight. I don't have this here. There's a turtle here. This is what I'm trying to bring out here. There's a circle that was put on a rock, etched on a rock. And we stepped out of that circle. We went from the circle to a square area. In that square, you're incarcerated. You have no place to go when you're incarcerated in the square, which they put us on a reservation. So the square, how do we put the circle back together again? To come in unity, put these things together. It's described in the rock. Thousands and thousands of years ago, what's going to happen to us? These are the stuff that I want to tell. There's handprints on there. We can talk about that. We can talk about many things. But I just want to put little things together today to keep you wondering, searching for knowledge and understanding of who we are and where are we going to go when we put that circle together. I was asked the other day, where did the seven fires created from? Where was it? Who put that together? I thought about that, the seven fires. When this image was put on a rock here, this lady image, and right adjacent to it, there's a circle there. In that image of the rock there, formation of the rock, there's a pipe there. There's a pipe engraved in a rock thousands of years ago. And what did that mean? What did it mean? And so, how do we put that seven fires together again to come back in that circle? Who's involved in it? You know, as I travel across this continent with many tribes, both women and men had pipes they used for ceremonies, and I honor that greatly. What they have done. I want to talk a little bit about the lady there. She put everything is on her, the bison. There's a story about the bison when we were first introduced to the Tatanka. There's a story that goes with it. We haven't talked about the astronomy yet, the stars. We haven't put that together yet. And how it coincides with our ways. You know. When that voice came, we chunkpito, hemi a tent, I am the blue star. I have journeyed a long distance. And I thought about that. Light years. How many light years go back to put this information on there that we can bring it out today? So these are the things I want to discuss, or that you could think about it. If I'm wrong, correct me. But there's many things we have to go put it together again. Thank you.